tired of it. But listen, so that while we have the opportunity, let us do good to every person in the world that we can. Obviously, it doesn't mean you give to everybody in the world. Let's do good to all people, but especially to those of the household of faith. Stay with me on this. I'm not trying to do one or the other, but I'm trying to make a focus here on what we're to be doing. 2 Corinthians, this is when they were raising money for the needy saints in Jerusalem. Paul was going out raising money. He says in one place, he said, listen, the churches in Macedonia had so much grace on them, it says they were begging us with much urging for the favor of participation in supporting the saints in Jerusalem. They will beg Paul, please let us be part of this. It's a privilege, it's a favor to share. And they shared, you need to understand verse 3. According to their ability and beyond their ability, they gave of their own accord. He said they didn't even have enough to give, but they were giving out of their need to somebody else. Only the grace of God can get people off of stingy. Only the grace of God can get people off of fear of lack. Only the grace of God can open up the church so that all needs are met. Okay? Chapter 9, verse 6, all concerning the same situation here, raising the money. He said, I say this, those who sow sparingly will reap sparingly. And God's not going to be mocked on this. This is what he's saying. The one who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. Okay? He's talking about giving away, being abundant in your giving. And then he goes on a little bit later and he says, now the one he who supplies seed, that's God, to the sower, and bread for food and supply, will multiply your seed for sowing and increasing in your harvest of righteousness. Well, I think that's just neat. And I wished I could go into all of this as a full teaching. Verse 8 said, God is able to make all grace abound to you, all grace that loosens the pocketbook, that opens the eyes, that opens the heart, that opens the ears to the cry of the needy, so that you will always have all sufficiency in everything. You may then have an abundance for every good need in work that comes along. Well, if the church could learn that right there, we'd have more than enough. There wouldn't be any needy among us. Really wouldn't. Okay. Acts chapter 4. I'm going to stretch out here a little bit. Right before Romans, I think, Smith. I keep going from Romans to John. I can't get in there. Acts 4. 32 through 34. We read this and we've excused it and we've explained it away and we've talked about cultures and we've talked about, oh, that was in those days. But listen to the principle of it, okay? The word is the word is the word is the word. And the congregation of those, this is in the early first century church, of those who believed were of one heart. This is what God's after, one heart. And soul. And not one of them claimed that anything belonged to him, but all things were common property. And I know we've had writers say, well, that was just an early experiment in socialism and it didn't work. Yeah, and what did it lead to? It led to everybody having their own stuff and not sharing. Okay, let's just stay with me. With great power, the apostles were giving testimony to the resurrection of the Lord, and abundant grace, there we go again, was on them all. Abundant grace was on them all. For there was not a needy person in the church. There was not a needy person in the church. There was not a needy person in the church. For all who were owners of land or houses would sell them and bring the proceeds of the sales and lay them at the feet of the apostles, and they were led by the Holy Ghost and distributed. The system will work if we stay in the Spirit. When we live in a system that's not led by the Spirit, it's not going to work, okay? But I wanted to throw that out to you today. So what does that got to do with priesthood? It's got everything to do with priesthood. We stand before God. We minister to Him first, and He ministers to us, and He gives us our supply of things we need. 1 minute. Things, whether it be anointing or health or whatever, God will give back to us abundantly, but we keep it flowing. We don't hold on to it. We don't get stingy. We don't build me, myself, and I. Now, you may have more than you need, and you may give it away, and it keeps growing. That's okay. It's the heart He's after. Okay? Some people can give $1 million, not blink an eye. Some of you give $10, and you're going to have to miss a meal. God is looking at the heart. But He says if you will not hold on, if you will come to Him and be liberal in whatever place you are, He will see to it that you have enough, and even enough to give to every needy work that comes along. Well, I wish I could keep on with this one, but I'm about to run out of time. We'll look at this some more next week. Be a high priest, and it's all linked into our high priest, who is Jesus Himself. Thank you for watching. Study this on your own. Till next week, God bless you.